It was some face pulling and some jumping up and down. And I had to pretend to eat soup and then put my tongue out. Yeah, meant nothing to me at the time.
Very different to mine.
Yeah, I can imagine. I came out quite kind of frustrated. It was a weird casting, and it was a frustrating one to do. It all turned out fine in the end. I did a recall as well, and then I was put on what you call a pencil when they're kind of thinking maybe it's you, but maybe it's not. So I was on a pencil for over Christmas for about a month. And those are difficult being on pencils because you kind of, part of you really wants to hope you get it, but part of you doesn't want to be disappointed, so another part of you kind of plays it down mentally and says, no, it won't be you. But luckily it was, getting that final phone call saying, yes, you are going to play this part that we can't name in a thing that we can't tell you what it is. Well done! I'm in a thing that I don't know what it is. It's going to be big. It was good.
Wow.
Over to you, Ray.
Well, why don't you go next? Just because yours is probably more similar.
So mine's a bit different to John's. I did have an agent. And actually, John rang my agent up at one point, saying, I want to ask you some questions, and I've got no one else I can talk to because I'm not allowed to tell anyone.
I had to find people who had signed the non-disclosure. I could only talk to other people who'd signed the non-disclosure agreement, and there weren't many of them.
So I got a phone call mid-November 2014 saying, just from my agent saying, someone's interested in you for an animated film. And I was like, great, okay. That was it. I was like, is it a feature or what is it? She was like, I think it's a feature, I don't know. Submitted you for it, it's something weird. And then, about 2 weeks later, another phone call going, they're still interested. Then some documents going, sign this, make sure you don't ever mention it again. That was the first point at which I knew it was Square Enix. It was at the top of the non-disclosure, it said Square Enix, and we're like, okay, what? So then I'm going through my head like, okay, what's all the Western stuff that Square Enix did? Deus Ex, Tomb Raider, like that was all the stuff that was going through my head. Didn't even occur to me Final Fantasy, to be honest. And then I got another contract come through saying sign this as well, and that finally said Final Fantasy. So I turn up for this audition, and they go, what do you know about the project? And I go, it's Final Fantasy. And I went, yeah, that's all it is. Right. So then I had to do some speech. I had to do a couple of speeches for them, then some shadow boxing. Weird audition. And then I didn't hear anything, and then it all went quiet, and I kept sort of nudging my agent going, have you heard? And they're going, no. Nothing. And eventually, my agent rang up Hannah and went, you know, this project is, what's going on? And she said, it's been cast, hasn't it? No. Go, well, no, he signed all the contracts. We're like, yeah, but that was before the audition. So, she went, oh, let me check. Yeah, he's got it. They want him for scanning in 2 days' time. Can he shave his head, please? Right, okay. So I had all this stuff come out of the blue in January going, yeah, can he shave his head and all body hair from the waist up? Really weird. Very weird. And then I turn up, I've got my shaved head and Adrian was there. He was also getting scanned at the same time. He is the guy who plays Jartis. And he had a full head of hair, and I'm going, why isn't he? Yeah. It was useful for you, but you could have not done it. It took 3 months to grow that. And then, I didn't know who I was playing. I knew I'd been cast in something. I didn't know who I was playing. I didn't really know what the project was still, even after I'd been scanned. I didn't know if I was even doing the mocap or the voice at this point. It was like, here you go, you're going to do this, you're going to be scanned for this, you might do some mocap, you might do... Then turn up for this test shoot, where they were trying out with the mocap team to see if they could actually coordinate between London and Tokyo sufficiently to be able to not have to bring the entire team over. And I turn up and they give us some sides. They're like, yeah, so if this isn't the character you're expecting to play, don't worry. And I'm like, well, I don't know who I'm playing anyway. And then it sort of carried on from there. And then it was gradually this sort of drip feed of going, yes, we want you to do the mocap. And then it was December 2015, I got a phone call, yes, we want you to do the voice as well. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's quite different to yours. But
You just reminded me as well. I was trying to remember why I was quite angry when I left the audition. Just frustrated. It was because they'd actually said to me, "Don't prepare anything. There's no dialogue." And then when I got there, they said, "Actually, could you improvise a monologue?" yeah. So they got quite a hard stare for about 5 seconds before I said, "Yeah, sure." Yeah.
What'd you come up with?
I have no idea. Whatever it was, it worked. On a blur.
And I'd heard a few of those stories before because we had met at KupoCon last year, but I couldn't say who I was because that was before anything was announced. Yeah, I was dutifully sitting in the audience. You and Crow, the actress who played Crow, were both there, and I was like, oh, I want to meet these guys, but I can't say anything. My journey was much less storied because I just did the voice. I'm not as pretty as Noctis is. So, let someone else do that part. It was an audition for Project Black. Ours was called Onyx and Black, were the two code names. And that was in 2014 in September. And then I went in and it was a 2-part audition because the first part was, when I auditioned, he was way down here because they wanted like that gritty sort of Noctis. And that was what ended up being on the Duskay demo. When I got in, they said, hey, we're choosing between what kind of guy this guy is. Can you do a kind of a teenager, cocky brat voice? And I did that for them. The guy doing the auditions was Keith Farley, going to his Thane Krios from Mass Effect. So I was a bit starstruck. I remember going to the audition places. It's a place called Rocket Sound. There were all these posters for BioShock Infinite, Lightning Returns, Gears of War, and I was like, this was my first time in a video game production for anything. It was something that I really loved. And so the callback, I later found out, my callback was terrible. But they liked, because I was so nervous, they liked me enough to bring me in for the Duskay demo just based on my first audition alone. We did that, and then about 6 months later it came out, and Tabata-san said, we want to go in a different direction with Noctis, please cast somebody else. And thankfully, Rocket Sound and Keith, the casting director, said, hold on, at the callback we had Ray do a teenager voice, will you please hear it? But being Japanese, we had to go through a lot of re-auditions to make sure it was exactly correct. It was about a month-long process to end up with the Noctis that you guys know today. And that was my journey, and then that was a year and a half of recording, and then finally it came out. I never thought it would come out. It seemed like that. You were like, this is just going to take forever. It's never actually going to come out. So it's awesome to be here and meet you guys. It's really cool. Yeah. And finally getting to meet each other, which is also cool. This is at last. Yeah. Yeah, father and son. And random guy. Being part of the Glaive means you have some connection.
Yeah.
Now.
Redemption story.
Excellent. I think we're going to take it out to the audience and ask a couple of questions. Is that okay?
You have that iPad of questions prepared, and that was the one question you asked?
I could ask you what you think of this cup noodle Noctis.
What do I think of cup noodle Noctis?
Yeah.
I love cup noodles. They are very nutritious, and I chose egg. What did you choose on your cup noodles?
Meat.
Meat. Yeah.
What do you think of beans? Ray, you've been really busy lately. There's a lot of stuff that came out. You're going to be in Gundam, the new Gundam series.
I'm like the biggest Gundam fan ever, so I'm really trying not to flip out.
You were just recently in Justice League Dark. I don't want to embarrass you. Can you do a little bit of your Jason Blood British accent for everyone?
Gone, the form of man. Arise, the demon, Etrigan!
So all of you all of you had a chance to play Final Fantasy? Or do you play Final Fantasy? Do you play games?
I literally finished it last night.
Oh yeah.
I'm coming here, I've got to get this finished. Just hammered through it. I spent about 8 hours yesterday just playing from Altissia through to the end.
It doesn't take that long. I know it doesn't. I'm just bad at this.
John, you've been twitching.
I literally got to 7% last night. Which, coincidentally, meant I got to see my own death. So. And yesterday I moved the PlayStation into the office so I could put it on the computer. I'd had it in the living room, so I got a projector, so I wanted to play it on the projector, but that was fun but not practical. So now I've got 2 monitors. So on the one monitor I've got the playing the game, and on the other one I've got my Twitch account open so I can see the feeds. I'm learning. But
it is so hard to set up Twitch.
It's so hard. I'm learning that that 3 things you've got to look at the camera, play the game, and look at the text feed.
Yeah.
And I'm getting good, so yesterday for the first time I was seeing my own Twitch feed with the delay, so I got to see my own reaction to I just wish someone had been in the room to film my reaction to my reaction. Watching full totally in the zone today.
Wow. Creeping around the internet, John, it seems like acting is sort of almost like a third or fourth career for you. You've had this kind of long storied history of doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, because I was old. I was old, so yeah, 50. Well, I want to go right back. I left school and got an apprenticeship with British Aerospace, building airplanes. And totally accidentally, got a really good apprenticeship. It took me 6 years to get out of that without upsetting the entire family and everyone I knew. And that was to go to drama school. Yeah, it ended up being a good thing. It taught me a lot of lessons. Like, I hate working in a factory. That lesson. So yeah, then I went to drama school. And I was also into photography, so we kind of became a professional photographer at the same time as going to drama school. Did actors' headshots for the 3rd years when I was a 1st year. So that was quite handy. I also, before I went to drama school, I accidentally became a DJ. There's a theme to my life.
Yeah. And he was really like, he was a DJ? Yeah, how do you accidentally become a DJ?
I can tell you exactly how you accidentally became a DJ. Happened to me. My best mate from school, Neil Bradshaw, who is still a DJ even now, up in Hull, where I'm from. So he's my best mate. So he became a DJ, and he was DJing in all the kind of. He got in with a good agency, All Night Sounds. Yeah. Hi, I'm a DJ for All Night Sounds. So I used to, if I had nothing to do on a Friday, Saturday, I could always go and hang out with Neil wherever he was DJing, and with the DJ's mate, always a bit cool, fending off all the girls coming and asking for requests. It was quite cool. And then his boss used to come in, and I'd meet him, Ian, who ran All Night Sounds, and he got to know me and learned that I was doing some acting. I was doing some youth theatre stuff and some amateur stuff. And he just started saying to me, John, do you want to be a DJ? You want to work for me? I'm looking for new DJs. And I was like, no. Not really. But he was really persistent, and he went on for probably 6 or 7 months. Every time I'd see him, he'd come up to the DJ booth and say, "So, John, when are you going to DJ for me?" It became a standing joke, and I had to find new excuses. And my main excuse was, I don't have a record collection, so, it's not even a starter. And then one day I noticed that when Ian was in, a lot of young guys were pestering Ian and saying "Oh, I want to be a DJ, can I DJ for you?" And he was knocking them back. And that did make me suddenly think, I'm being offered what they want, and I'm turning it down. So the next time Ian approached me, I said no again. But he was a smart guy. When I said no, Ian, I haven't got a record collection. He said, "Follow me." Took me out to his car. He bought a record collection. And he said, "It's yours, John. You can pay me back out of your earnings." That was on the Wednesday. He started DJing on the Friday. Terrifying. My girlfriend came along to support me, and that was when I was 18. I did a dance, playing 60s, 70s, 80s, general party stuff. And I did that all the way through drama school, supported me through drama school, supported me in London as an actor, became one of the most important things I ever chose not to do. So that's how I actually became a DJ. So does that cover everything? British Aerospace, building airplanes, DJing, photographer, and I was a statue artist for a while.
You mean you stood naked while people painted you?
No, exactly not. I was paid to stand still at various events. The best thing was I got to go to an arms fair in Kuala Lumpur and be a statue artist in Kuala Lumpur. I got mobbed because in Kuala Lumpur they don't really see a lot of that mine stuff, so they were like really impressed. Wow. So yeah, portfolio career, that's what we have these days.
Excellent. So I think now we need to take it out to the audience.
Oh yeah.
So if you have a question for any of these three